Hi, my name is Zachary Angelat, and I wanted to go over some of the changes I made to my ground up project. Um, there's actually quite a bit of stuff I changed. I guess on a macro level, I redid the foldering. Um, I did it more on a like standard structure, so to speak, where I used internal and package and then source. I don't think I totally used these as they were totally intended. Um, what my general thing that I did was internal was stuff that people shouldn't necessarily dive into. Well, not dive into, but not like take from. Because, I mean, they can take from it, but it's probably going to change in a week. And so these two folders you probably don't want to rely on too much, just because I'm building it out. It's not so much oh, should I add this feature here or trim this feature or whatever. It really is I'm still building sort of a thing. It's not a fully featured application yet, at least not in my eyes. And then package is basically just the utilities, and these are just folders with just a tremendous amount of functions. General just means functions that are used in general, like opening up files, copy files, whatever. Generate or generate functions, or at least helper functions for generating code. Um, Handler is more or less for the main page, and that is just basically for showing data. CLI is, well, for the CLI commands. Basically, I took a lot of stuff that was inside of this home.go, which is in source, dashboard, and then handler, and then get, and then home. And I basically took some of these commands that were generating stuff like create config, create server, and turned them into CLI. I had actually originally had these in the CLI, and then I removed the CLI folder, and because I didn't think I needed them. But when I started to get into the database stuff, that's when certain things had to rely upon certain things, and so CLI commands for generating the tables was really useful. But yeah, so basically the structuring is, this is the database stuff under internals, because I'm always adding you know model files or whatever you want to call them for the database stuff. Generate is exactly what you think. It generates code like servers, configs, databases, whatever. I just went over the utility stuff, but some of these are relatively big. The templates are just basically files that have some templated code for the generating. The generate for like the generate. Well, this actually does the generating itself. This may use utility functions from the package folder generate. But it's the reason why I did this for the structuring is just because what I had prior was set up like this, and which is fine, I think, in the beginning. But when everything is kind of literally put together and slammed together, what does handler mean? Well, that may be the home one. What does generator mean? Well, now I have generator utility folder, templates, gen, and then I have some generator folder. It sort of wasn't separated. The concerns weren't separated whatsoever. I had UT for just the general utility. It was all slammed into the dashboard folder, which I think in the beginning, when these were small, I think it was fine. But as these obviously got a bit bigger, then you kind of want things to be a little more understood, so I know that, okay, if I need to generate stuff, I'll go into the internal, which is stuff that changes a lot. and I'll create maybe another folder under generators. And then if I need something that I haven't already built, I'll go into the package and start adding the stuff. And the reason why I'm presuming that under package the utility files aren't going to change much, because I don't tend to change these. I tend to just add another one, add another one, add another one for the things that I need to build. And so for me, that's just a lot easier. And I almost never change the actual functions themselves. So because they usually have one particular use case, even if they're pretty big. Write template data. Writes the template data. But I think this is more for the database. I gotta write better comments. But oh wait, no, this is the actual Go template method that I made to when I go to generate database commands, this splits them up so that it does each item on a database. I think I actually made a video going over this, but this is an actual function for Go templates instead of a function that generates code for the Go stuff. So I don't even know if I'm using it necessarily. I think I may have found an easier way, but well, actually we can find out. Yeah, I guess I am. Yeah, for creating the database statement for creating the database. Anyways, so this is sort of how I have the foldering now. Dashboard now only has the routing, the main server stuff you never need to touch anyways, and then the main handler for the main page that does everything. And that, I mean, it's basically the GUI. Yeah, and on a macro level, that's pretty much what I've been doing and changing things with. On a micro level, I think I did more with the generating the database stuff because, let me run it. I think I went over the editor thing where if you want to do some, create a table, I don't know, say that. Yeah, this I had wrong. When I actually moved the folders, that was another thing I forgot. I had to, whenever I did commands to try and find the files, I had to get out of the folders that I was in, which is the main top one or whatever it is, and then to get back into the app in order to get the text and everything from the app. Yeah, I had to crawl my way out of the top folder back into the app folder. So that was something that I had to figure out kind of on my own. Yeah, I think I may have went over this part of it too, and this was for the field types and tables. That's so when you actually I don't know why this does that sometimes, or it doesn't show all the tables. Oh yeah, because I actually have to start the app for it to know about the tables to show. That's another thing I gotta figure out is when to know when to start the app, stop the app, whatever, so that users have an idea of kind of what's going on and why. It's definitely something I have to kind of figure out more on. Let's see if it did it this time. No. Hit reload. No reason. Oh, because I'm stuck on one of the breakpoints. It's funny how it loaded up all my commands after that. But yeah, anyways, I've been trying to fix stuff ever since I moved all the folders. The importing was easy, but the dashboard to the app was not the easy part. Just because they don't know about each other. That's like kind of the point. And so when you move all the folders of the dashboard, but it still needs to know where to go for the files in the app, So that took me a little bit to kind of figure it out. Yeah, so now it shows all the tables. See, there's my G table. But the thing is, I have to also do a pop-up or something when I go to submit the table that you made. I got to do a pop-up that basically says, okay, you've made the table, but in order to generate the table in the app, you basically have to reload the app. And that's because, okay, the app is running. I've written the functions in the app to create the database, but because it has its runtime, it doesn't really know that I've done that. So you have to reload the app, which basically just starts and stops it, to know that there's functions to create the database inside the app, basically. And so if you do reload, see how it's like, oh, okay. So then if we go to database, we show app data. Oh, see, now it didn't show that table. And it really should have. Because it had the functions to run to create the database. I wonder if I gotta stop the app. Start the app. Observe. See, never made them. I still gotta work on some of that. It was working for a reason. And when it was working, before I moved all the folders, I was having a thing to where you can actually just go and edit those tables that you've inputted inside of the app. Obviously, I was still kind of working on how that gets generated, only because the amount of fields, the dashboard knows how many fields you can add, but then the app has to know, or the code that you generate that then has to create the database and create the SQL stuff. It has to know how many fields you're going to be doing. And so that was, I don't know if I'd won over that, but it was definitely getting nitty gritty. Create. Yeah, I think this was it. Let me see. I kept some of my test stuff. I don't know if I went over this or not. But see how it generated the command to generate it, or to create a table, I should say, for the app. And that's what this is breaking it down to, from field type, table name. And then it stores them. I had to store them a very specific way. And then oh, that's when I did the iterate. In order for it to split it up, and because using the Go template syntax on its own, in order to split up the name, the type, or the table and stuff, and doing it row by row, and the Go template syntax is just too hard. So you basically have to create a function that splits it all up. I probably have to debug through this in order to... well, let's go into the app. So did they actually create what I thought it was creating? So it did the import. Create GG, because remember GG was the table. Created the function. But does it necessarily know DB? Yeah, created the file. Created a create command to create the table. It just didn't run this. Like, it didn't, has the import, has the function, just for whatever reason didn't take to it. So I guess what I could do is then go into the app, and I'm in the app now. Go build. On the app backup. Runs. But did it create the DB inside of there? That's the only real kicker. Go. There's that. It created a GG table, so it's in there. So then it just, when I do this, it just doesn't, it didn't pull it up, huh? Interesting. So it did what it was supposed to. It just, this GUI part just didn't grab what it was supposed to. Okay, well, that'll be the next thing I gotta work on. But I'm getting closer to, and that's kind of my goal, is this dynamic data stuff. Even though it looks kind of, the whole point is that hopefully you don't have to code in order to create data that is persistent inside your app. So it's not just a website generator. It actually is something that you can kind of dynamically do stuff without having to code anything. And it's using the SQL that's was originally from the C1, but it was generated into Go code, so that's really part of your app. And I still need to make a thing that just generates the binary, which really wouldn't be that hard whatsoever. But yeah, that's sort of, I mean, I had been spending a lot of time figuring this stuff out, to say the least, especially this part, because and I think I went over this in a video even, where you're taking a database stuff from the dashboard database, which is here, and you're taking those tables, and then you're using that in order to write to the app files to create, you know, how many different things there are. And then it's supposed to generate it, but then I still have to get a way to, I guess, call directly the database file inside the app, so that it, I mean, I thought that's what I did here actually, because it actually has data. I still gotta kind of mingle that part out, but that's basically the gist of what's going on. Yeah, I had to spend a lot of time trying to figure all that stuff out, and I think it was worth it. The only thing is, though, that I think might have hindered something on accident was prior to this database stuff, I can shut down the dashboard and then the app would still be running. For whatever reason, when I do that, it seems to shut the app off, and I'm guessing it's because of the database stuff. Let me see for sure. If I end this, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, it must be somehow connected with the database with the app. Or maybe what I should do is do a console out here for the app so you can actually know what's happening. Lots of stuff I still gotta do with it, but I'm getting there. I'm happy with it. I enjoy it just because it can get as big as I want, and it really doesn't get out of hand. Learn a few new things along the way as to why you would have these packages. That was the other thing that I learned, why they also did the packages this way. It's because when you do CLI, like Cobra, you need it to be in the main package. Well, if your main package is running your server, how are you going to do the CLI commands from it if it's also running your server? So that's why I have an outside here from all the folders, the CLI command thing, so it can go into these folders. It's still a main, and I can do what I want. A little something that I learned as well along the way. Yeah, I just been hacking away with this data stuff. Hopefully I can get it a little more clean, get more pop-ups that tell you, oh, rerun your stuff or whatever. But yeah, that's basically what's been going on. Alright. Okay. If you have any questions, let me know. All right, thank you.